There were rules inside a 1950s home that nobody wrote down, and nobody had to. Certain things simply were not allowed through the door. Not because the family was poor, and not because they were strict for the sake of it, but because they had learned, often the hard way, that some things cost a household far more than their price tag, and the cheapest way to deal with them was to never let them in at all. We think of those homes as having less. In truth, they kept out the very things that quietly drain a modern household dry, and the family that kept them out, on one ordinary income, ended up with something most two-income homes today do not have: a paid-off house, a full pantry, money in the tin, and no one to answer to. So I am going to walk you through the door of that home. 20 things that were never allowed inside a 1950s house, and the quiet reason each one made the family richer for keeping it out. Stay with me, because number 11 is the hinge the whole household stood on, and it is the one thing the modern world has installed in nearly every home in the country. Here is the modern reality. The average home today is full of things that take a little money every month forever. Subscriptions, payments, replacements, conveniences, each one small, all of them together enormous. The 1950s home ran on the opposite instinct. If a thing would quietly cost you month after month, it did not come in. Let me show you what stayed outside, one item at a time. Number 1. Debt was not allowed inside. Not the house loan they were racing to kill, but everyday debt, the kind you carry to buy things you cannot yet afford. A bill that was not paid in full was treated as a fire in the house, dealt with before it spread. A home with no revolving debt keeps every dollar it earns. Number 2. The impulse buy was not allowed inside. Nothing crossed the threshold that had not been decided on in a calm moment first. The thing grabbed in a hot moment at a store counter was exactly the thing they refused to bring home. Most of what drains a household is simply things nobody actually decided to buy. Number 3. Waste was not allowed inside. Food scraped into the bin, clothes thrown out with wear still in them, leftovers forgotten until they spoiled. To waste was, in that house, a small disgrace, because waste is money turned to garbage. A home that wastes nothing needs to buy far less. Number 4. Keeping up with the neighbors was not allowed inside. The new car next door, the fancy appliance across the street, these were noted and then ignored. The family measured itself against its own plan, never against the street, and so it never spent a dollar to impress someone who was not paying its bills. Number 5. The throwaway item was not allowed inside. If a thing was built to be used once and binned, they were suspicious of it. They bought what lasted and kept it. A home full of disposable things is a home that is always buying the same thing again. Number 6. Idle money was not allowed inside. A dollar that just sat loose, unassigned, tended to wander off and become a small foolishness. Every dollar in that house had a name and a job the moment it arrived. Money with a purpose does not get spent by accident. Number 7. The unpaid bill was not allowed to sit inside. Bills were handled at once, never stacked in a drawer to grow late fees and worry. A bill paid on time costs only its amount. A bill ignored costs its amount, plus interest, plus a night of sleep. Number 8. Excuses about money were not allowed inside. The household did not pretend it could not see where its money went. The book was open, the numbers were known, and nobody was permitted the comfortable lie of not knowing. A family that watches every dollar is a family that keeps them. Number 9. The habit of eating out was not allowed to become normal inside. A meal away from home was a rare treat, not a weekly default. They knew that the kitchen was the single biggest place a household either saved a fortune or bled one. They cooked because cooking was wealth. Number 10. Vanity spending was not allowed inside. Buying the name on the label instead of the thing itself, paying triple for a fancier version that did the same job. They bought the plain one that worked and kept the difference. The premium for appearance was a tax they simply refused to pay. And before number 11, remember what I told you. 11 is the hinge. Everything kept out of that home was kept out to protect this one thing, and it is the very thing the modern world has welcomed into almost every house. Keep it in your mind. Number 11, the hinge. The monthly payment was not allowed inside. Not the mortgage they were killing, but the endless small recurring payments that define modern life. The thing financed instead of bought, the convenience billed every month, the easy installment on what they did not need. They understood that a household is destroyed not by big disasters but by 100 small payments that never end. The moment a home fills up with monthly obligations, every dollar that comes in is already spoken for before it arrives, and there is never anything left to get ahead with. Break this one rule, let the monthly payments in, and every other discipline on this list slowly stops mattering, because a home that is bled a little every month forever can never build anything. This is the thing the modern economy needed inside your house because its entire profit is your monthly payment. Keep it out and your income is yours. Let it in, and your income belongs to whoever bills you. Number 12. Clutter was not allowed to pile up inside. Not for tidiness alone, but because a house full of forgotten things is a house that buys what it already owns, lost somewhere in the mess. They knew what they had, so they never bought it twice. Number 13. The unrepaired thing was not allowed to be thrown out inside. A torn coat went to the sewing basket, not the bin. A loose hinge was fixed, not replaced. Repair lived inside that house as a normal act, and every repair was a purchase they did not have to make. Number 14. The unplanned expense was not allowed to become a crisis inside. The costs they knew were coming, the winter cold, the children's shoes, the holidays were saved for in advance. An expected cost is not an emergency unless you refuse to see it coming, and they refuse to be surprised. Number 15. Borrowing against the future was not allowed inside. Spending next month's money this month, leaning on credit to live a little larger now, was seen for what it is, stealing from your own future self. They lived on what they had actually earned, and never on what they merely hoped to. Number 16. The idle hand was not allowed inside because idle time often cost money. The afternoon was for the garden, the mending, the canning, the baking, the things that fed and clothed the family for free. A productive home is a cheaper home. Number 17. Shame about thrift was not allowed inside. Nobody in that house was embarrassed to mend, to save, to say a thing was too dear and walk away. Thrift was dignity, not poverty. The family that is not ashamed to be careful is the family that stays ahead. Number 18. Confusing wants with needs was not allowed inside. A want was a want, named honestly, and a need was a need, and no want was ever smuggled in dressed as a necessity. The household that knows the difference never finances a luxury and calls it survival. Number 19. The decision made in a store was not allowed to be final inside. Anything tempting was carried home only in the mind first, slept on, weighed against the plan. The real decision was made at the kitchen table, calm, and the store never got to make it for them. Number 20. The belief that money was complicated was not allowed inside. They knew the truth, that a household runs on a few plain habits: spend less than you earn, owe no one, waste nothing, watch every dollar. No app, no advisor, no mystery. The family that kept the mystery out kept the money in. Let me show you what this looked like in one real home. Picture a small house on a quiet street in 1955, a father with one paycheck, a mother who ran the house, and 3 children. From the outside, it was the plainest house on the block. The neighbors had the newer cars, the financed furniture, the appliances bought on easy terms. Inside that plain house, none of those things had been allowed through the door, not out of poverty, but out of principle. There were no monthly payments but the one on the home, and that one was shrinking fast. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was bought to impress. Every bill was paid the day it came. The neighbors looked, frankly, richer. And then the recession came, and the layoffs, and the street grew quiet behind drawn curtains as the payments came due with no paychecks behind them. In the plain house, nothing changed. There was no payment to miss, no debt to call, no monthly obligation to default on, because none of those things had ever been allowed inside. The family that looked poorest on the street turned out to be the only one that was truly secure, and it was secure precisely because of everything it had kept out. When the father retired, that small plain house was paid off, the tin was full, and they owed not one person a single dollar. Stop and add up what they kept out, in the plainest arithmetic there is. A single monthly payment of even $30 in their day was $360 a year gone, and gone again the next year and the next, forever, with nothing ever owned at the end of it. Now multiply that by the handful of monthly obligations a modern home carries without a second thought, the financed furniture, the easy installments, the little conveniences billed every single month, and you are looking at thousands of dollars a year that simply walk out the door in exchange for nothing you can hold in your hand. The 1950s family did not earn more than the neighbors. They kept what the neighbors paid away. That is the entire difference, and it compounds year after year into the gap between a family that owns its life and a family that only rents it. And this is exactly why it matters more in 2026 than it did then. When prices rise, the household with no monthly payments feels the increase once on the things it actually buys and absorbs it. The household full of monthly obligations feels every increase while still owing on everything it financed before the prices ever climbed. The payments do not pause for a hard year. They do not shrink when your buying power shrinks. They sit there, fixed and heavy, demanding the same dollars that now buy less. That is why a home that kept those obligations out is a home that can ride out a storm the others cannot. Everything that 1950s family refused at the door was, in the end, a refusal to be owned by a payment when the hard times finally came. So that is the quiet secret of the 1950s home. It did not get rich by what it brought in. It got rich by what it kept out. Everything left outside that door was a thing that would have taken a little money, month after month, forever, and the family that refused them all kept that money instead. Every one of those rules is still yours to make today in your own home on your own income. You do not need to earn more to start. You need to look honestly at what you have let inside your home that quietly takes a little every month and begin one thing at a time to show at the door. If this is the kind of forgotten wisdom you want more of, the real way working families stayed secure, not the version the industry sells, subscribe and stay with us. We are keeping these alive on purpose. And before you go, tell me one thing in the comments. What is the one thing in your home right now that takes a little money every month that you suspect you would be better off without? Name it. Someone reading is paying for the very same thing.